Hey everybody, this is Dust for Listed on Giving with a deck building in progress, so to speak. This is a small project I'm going to be taking on over the next several days, maybe a couple weeks, in addition to everything else going on the channel. So a friend of my brother's asked his help for building a Saheeli Rai combo deck in Modern, based around a combo of Saheeli Rai, mainly its -2 ability with liquid metal coating. From what I've read, theoretically, and I don't know, we'll have to check this on Magic Online before going through with the actual series. Saheeli Rai, target with liquid metal coating. Target Saheeli Rai herself. She becomes an artifact. Use Saheeli Rai's ability copying herself. Create an artifact copy. Keep the artifact copy. Continue this loop. While you're doing this, you're using Altar of the Brood to mill your opponent out. So basically, you're just ultimating your opponent here. You're milling them out, and then they die via not being able to draw cards. The rest of the stuff around this is based off of liquid metal coating. You got some Ops and Serum Visions and Clinton S. Cranes for finding your combo pieces. A couple Manic Vandals to blow up some artifacts. Obviously, with liquid metal coating, you can turn anything into an artifact. Metallic Mastery allows you to steal anything. Snaring Bridge keeps you alive. Master's Thief, once again, allows you to steal any artifact. And then Worm Coil Engine is kind of an alternative win con. So far this deck has 32 cards in it. In addition, not including the lands over here, this is just the suggested deck based. So there are a couple different directions we can go. We can try to go like turbo combo, just try to get the pieces together as quickly as possible, kill your opponent. Another possibility is to turn this into kind of a mid-range prison control deck with like Saheeli Rai, liquid metal coating, Altar of the Brood, kind of being your kill combo with like Whir of Invention and such, you know, like a kind of Tezzeret prison deck with like Saheeli Rai as like your main win con, but like you have Saheeli Rai, Tezzeret either Tezzeret really. The blue Tezzeret would work in that deck style of deck. Blue-black Tezzeret would work in that style of deck. I think what I'm going to do for this particular build is I'm going to go for more of a turbo combo version of the deck. Obviously, currently constructed, I don't think the deck has enough artifacts to justify playing too many copies of Whir of Invention, but I think we're going to go this route. Add Pentad Prism for 1. So that brings us to 36 cards. Whir of... Add a couple Whirs of Invention just to test the card in a deck that's obviously trying to set things up. I think 38 cards is about the maximum you want to go. So we'll see how this version does. At this point, I want to add some like Flooded Strands. Sorry, this isn't the most Alright, Flooded Strands. So we're up to 12 lands. This deck is primarily blue, so we want to add some number of islands. Let's go with ones we've actually got here. So my thought process with this particular build of the deck is first off to test the combo to see if it works on Magic Online as it's stated. Second thought process is Or like one more mountain. Put in a mountain. And then 4 copies of Sulphur Falls. Seems like a pretty reasonable start to the mana base. Sulphur. Just go to Falls then, since I can't seem to... Why can I not spell anything today? Alright, let's see... I know I have one... do I have one in my collection? Maybe not. Yeah, not the most interesting part of the... stuff I don't own in my collection, that'd be probably why. There we go, there's Sulphur Falls. Alright, so this is a look at the deck and its like first form. Obviously this gives you basically 6 copies of your 2 combo pieces here, 4 copies of Saheeli Rai, 4 Glint Nest Crane to kind of find your stuff, 4 copies of Ensnaring Bridge to be your early defense, Penthead Prism to kind of accelerate your Whir of Inventions, and Wormcoil Engines primarily. I don't think this particular version is going to be very good, but it does allow us to test the synergy of the combo to see if it's worked. Obviously, a turn 3 combo in Modern is fast enough in most matchups, so obviously maybe going for the turbo combo version is worthwhile. Assembling 3-card combo in Modern is not the easiest thing in the world to do, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Sideboard, probably want some amount of interaction. Maybe a 3rd Ensnaring Bridge. Matchups where those are good. Ensnare. This is just kind of the rough sketch of the version 1.0 of the deck. Trying to go through my thought process of designing the deck. Probably want like a couple copies of Negates just to bring in against various whatevers. Metallic Rebuke may not be a bad one here. And I cannot spell today. Metallic. Let's try with Rebuke. There we go. Put a couple of those on the board. Couple copies of some type of red sweeper. Do we want to go with Pyroclasm? Probably Pyroclasm as a 2 of. Not the best sweeper in the world, but it's cheap, it's efficient. Stops some of the faster combo decks. So obviously we need to also be able to combat cards like Stony Silence. The question is like bounce spells, like maybe Echoing Truth as kind of the starter here. Need a way to protect Saheeli Rai from bolts and stuff, because otherwise that like shuts down the whole combo. Or do I just go with like an alternative win con? So Wormcoil Engines are not a bad alternative win con for an ultimate Saheeli Rai. We have the aggro decks covered. We have some counter spells for some combo decks. Have a little bit of interaction for something like have a little bit of interaction for something like yeah, Stony Silence and such. Put one Tezzeret in the board, maybe two, just to kind of test things here. Obviously, the Tezzeret that I'm interested in is the Tezzeret the Seeker. Just get a couple copies of him on the board, try him out in some grindier matchups. We want like one or two copies of Pithing Needle effects. So it'll be one Pithing Needle, one copy of Spyglass, and what are we kind of soft to here? Got Ensnaring Bridges to help lock down combo or to aggro decks. Pyroclasm, some mana counter spells. Is there anything I'm missing here? So, Tour of the Brood. Sorry, this is running a little bit longer than I wanted to. Just trying to go through the way it is to kind of construct a... So what other cards should we consider for this mostly turbo combo, somewhat prison style of deck? Maybe like one copy of... Oh, what is the one that regenerates artifacts? Welding Jar. That's one way to do. Yeah, I can really type today. There we are. Scriptures. Just as Phyrexian Scriptures run. Alright, so... There's only so many sagas, right? Is the blue one here. I think the blue one's pretty cheap overall, if I remember it correctly. Antiquities War. Let's put one copy of the Antiquities War on the sideboard just as another alternative win con. So we have a decent amount of artifacts. It's kind of a do-nothing card, but in some regards it's sort of like part of poor man's Tezzeret Agent of Bolas. So, just a smattering of cards to try. Now have an alternative win cons on the sideboard between Tezzeret and Antiquities War here. Saheeli Rai also has the ability to ultimate and go steal, or ultimate and go get Wormcoil Engine. Obviously, we're probably not going to be able to Wurf and mention Wormcoil Engine, but this is kind of the build I'm looking at. It's kind of a fast combo build here with a little bit more like a main acceleration with Pentad Prism. A couple Whir of Inventions just to try them out to go find, these two parts of the combo. Saheeli Rai, obviously, going to be the hardest piece of the combo to find, just because she's a non-artifact. But the rest of the deck, we've got a lot of cantrips. We've got a Snaring Bridge. So potential weaknesses for this build, obviously, besides the opponent disrupting the combo with like a bolt or something, is the fact that we have very little early defense and we are entirely incumbent upon setting up the combo. against aggro outside of Drawing or Ensnaring Bridges. Against disruption decks, we've got a lot of moving pieces. Positive side, opponent's probably not going to know what's going on game one. They're going to see Saheeli Raya in a blue-red deck and be like, I suppose there's an argument for like including a one-of Felidar Guardian, but we have no way to find it, so it's kind of the combo. We'll see if it works on Magic Online, if we actually get all the pieces assembled. That's kind of the sideboard going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off for this deck tech / deck building and get the cards, and we're going to run it through a couple of matches in practice rooms.